मामरे के जूते खरीदे, इंग्लिश स्पाइक शूज उसे कहते हैं, एंड दो स्पाइक्स वो बिग थिंग देन. Finally, I was a board topper. I got 92.5 in my PCM across. I I think the voice is echoing up somehow.
No, we can hear you very loud and clear.
So it so happened that as I kept just a second. Okay, sir. I don't know. I am hearing my voice again and again.
No, for us, you are very clear.
Okay, perfect. So this happened. I was the best student of school, 8th, 9th, 10th, across, clear 10th with 92.5. Got into college. Uh, and then you got into college, आप बदमाश हो जाते हो, और मैं बहुत बदमाश हो गया. And proudly I say my classmate, तो मैं साइंस का स्टूडेंट था, मैं आर्ट्स का लेक्चर अटेंड करता था. And my close friend from my college इसके आर्ट्स के लेक्चर अटेंड करता, he is my chief of operation today in my company. So we work together. That's the best part. So being a science student, I used to go and attend the arts lecture. I have all my friends from arts, very less from science. And somewhere in my board exams, I don't know what went into my head. And in my physics, chemistry, maths paper, I went and watched 3 movies. One was something about Mary, Never Been Kissed, and Dude, Where Is My Car? I wanted to get a 0 in the paper. And I always, the thought process, which now I realize what would have gone then in my mind is that getting the 0 was the toughest, it's still the toughest thing in life. बिकॉज उसके लिए आपको कुछ नहीं करना होता है, और कुछ नहीं करना सबसे डिफिकल्ट काम है, बिकॉज फिर तो आप एक सोच, ऐसे गहरी सोच में चले जाते हैं, फोकस में चले जाते हैं, जहां आपका माइंड ब्लैंक हो जाए, जो पॉसिबल नहीं है. सो व्हेन आई रोट दीज पेपर्स, मैं सिर्फ नाम लिखकर बाहर आ गया. एंड व्हेन द रिजल्ट केम, आई गॉट 9, 11 and 13 marks
Without writing anything.
Without writing anything. These were my marks. So I actually failed in failing. And it came as a shock to me. So I knew I was failing, but I actually failed in failing because मुझे 0 नहीं आए. And it so happened कि मैं नायगो रेलवे स्टेशन पे बैठा, उतर कर नीचे रेलवे ट्रैक पे सुसाइड करने के लिए, रात को 11:15 बजे तक.
Oh,
And
you
रात को
did not get 0.
yeah, because I failed, right?
Oh.
And it was failed in failing. For me, it was not actually failing, but getting that 0 itself was a big thing for me. And वही 11:15 बजे रात को ये हुआ कि जान इतनी आसानी से नहीं दूंगा. And I'm not going to give away my life. And I came back home. 2-3 दिन तो लोगों ने बहुत अच्छे से ध्यान दिया. उसके बाद हम बिहार से हैं, तो हमारे यहाँ तो ये है कि इतनी कुटाई होती है कि बोले एक को करेंगे दूसरे को पैदा कर लेंगे. So life changed. But reality is, this one silly episode in my life not only changed my career but also changed my brother's career. Now, when you come from a family which is below poverty line, or you're just on the brink of the poverty line, and आपके माता पिता ने आपकी सारी जिंदगी लगा दी कि अपने बच्चों को अच्छी पढ़ाई दे, और वही उनके लाइफ का एक मिशन होता है, और उसमें अगर लड़का आपका, if you do this mistake, it turns their world upside down, right? So and it's right at their part. What happened was absolutely right at their part. And मुझे वो realize हो रहा था. And I went and gave my boards again, this time without practicals. So out of 100, 25 marks का मैंने practical किसी का नहीं दिया. And out of 75 marks, I got 69. So my aggregate in second time when I gave my 12th is 69%. Wow. All marks are 69. English, Hindi, biology, सब 69 है. That's the most funniest mark sheet, I show people at time. So I got 69% and I cleared. And then dad said कि मर्चेंट नेवी एक तरीका है, 60% है, ये एनडीए में तो जाएगा नहीं, बदमाश लड़का, ये करेगा नहीं. So it was like pushed into merchant navy. तो पैसे दिए and I joined JESCO that time. JESCO से निकला मैं प्रीसी करके 3 महीने की, 3.5 महीने की होती थी तब. And you go out searching for job. घूमे, एक रेस शिपिंग करके कंपनी होती थी, I don't know if they are now today or not. वहाँ पे इंटरव्यू दिया. I went to Volumes across Maersk Line में दिया. I did not get through their test. And finally, it so happened on when Bernard Schulte was Eurasia से पहले Paramount, that whole phase of across which was there. Captain APCT was my training captain then, and I go in again to apply for a job as a cadet, and एक रीता मैडम करके होती थी वहां पर. And luckily or unfortunately, one boy had hanged himself on the ship called MV Asaka-san there. and that was my first capesizer bulk carrier, which I did. And possibly time space was right. I went in, and Captain Sethi was sitting there. His office was right. You enter, if somebody has gone to the Olympia building, even today, you enter Bernard Schulte office reception, and you go in on the right hand side. First cabin is where Captain AP Sethi used to sit.
Okay.
So मुझे मौका मिला, मैं घुस गया, वहां लिखा था ट्रेनिंग कैप्टन, तो मैं चला गया स्मार्टली। तो उन्होंने पूछा, फिर मैंने उन्हें अपना दुखड़ा बनाया कि ऐसे ऐसे एजेंसी से आए हैं और ऐसे ऐसे धोखा हो गया, और मैंने अपनी दिल की सारी बात बोल दी। एंड इट्स नॉट दैट आई वाज नॉट टैलेंटेड, बट मेरी लाइफ ऐसे ऐसे मैंने खुद ही बदल दी। somehow it struck a chord with Captain Sethi, and he took me in. And within next I think 12 or 15 days, that time courses were not there at all. Only thing आपके पास CDC होनी चाहिए थी. I was on board the ship.
Wow.
So I think Paramount Eurasia, Bernard Schulte आपसे कहिए, आज निकुंज पराशर है, तो I think if Captain Sethi and Paramount Eurasia, they gave me this opportunity to really join sea. If that would have not happened, if that day would have not happened, possibly I would have not been here today. तो वो एक चीज हुई। जॉइन सी सेल किया, काफी ज्यादा सेल किया। एक 36 मंथ्स के बदले 41 मंथ सेल किया मैंने। कुछ और घटना हो चुकी थी, मैं यहाँ नहीं बताना चाहूंगा, बट आई सेल फॉर 41 मंथ एज ए कैडेट, एज ए पनिशमेंट। तो हैपेंड, did around 7 ships in cadetship. Came back, did my mates, second mates, again joined sea in Eurasia. And it was a phase where junior officers were again getting out of job. All of a sudden, there was a flooding in the merchant navy, and it so happened within 6 months again the scenario changed, and a new third officer came in where I was giving somewhere around $1,200. He came in at $2,700. I think that hit me very hard across, and I came down. I was very upset. I went to the office. I thought that it's not about 1,200 or 1,300, but it's about your own cadet. It's about your own people. How do we feel about it? Or you should have given me the increment across if you were sending somebody in. And this happened, and I think that's the time I quit Eurasia and I joined Maersk Line. So the journey continued, went on, did masters, mates, volumes. XA का भी एक जहाज किया था मैंने. I think if I'm not wrong, where I met these boys. And time on, captain बना, जिंदगी अच्छी चलती रही. But in this whole thing, I was missing something, and the miss part actually where it clicked was my younger brother. And why I say that my failing in 12th shaped my younger brother's life is, this is where it comes into picture, is my brother was a 12th topper. And he wanted to do UPSC. बिहारियों को IIT, UPSC इन्हीं सब की बहुत ज़्यादा रहती है, इच्छा रहती है. We all have this, that we are different in terms when it comes to Saraswati Mata. So he wanted to do civil services, but as I failed and I went out at sea, my dad, again, conservative approach, and he was right in his place, stating that एक लड़का shipping में चला गया है, जो अच्छा कर रहा है, and वो अच्छा पैसा कमाएगा. दूसरे की क्या गारंटी है कि if he does graduation and he would get into UPSC, because UPSC there is no guarantee, right? So journey continued, and he said I want to do graduation in UPSC. He did not. He got into VGT and chemical engineering, and as he was a topper, and he quit, and he said then I'll go into merchant navy. Brilliant बच्चा था ही वो. 3 महीने की प्रीसी करी, एंड फ्लीट मैनेजमेंट इज वेयर ही जॉइंड अक्रॉस. 9 साल के अंदर ही बिकेम अ मास्टर मरीनर. मैं तब भी मेट ही था. ही वाज ऑलरेडी अ मास्टर हु स्टार्टेड 4 years behind me across. And after taking that 4 stripes on his shoulder, he tells that can I do UPSC? 25 साल का लड़का. And something very different, and that really hit me also equally very hard. And that boy who was a chemical class 1 class 2 which he has been doing and making good money decides to do UPSC back again. So for me, my inspiration, two big inspirations in my life, is my brother and my father. I don't go out for inspirations for looking out in the world. You have to look within your own self, look into your family. I think there's a hell lot of inspiration there. So this young boy who was a master mariner uh, completed his one goal in life. I think that's what I look up is to my brother, is कि 9 साल लगा रहा अपने एग्जाम्स क्लियर करने में फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट पे, वाइवास क्लियर करने में फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट पे। अब मैं लेट लतीफ था, अपनी जिंदगी जीता रहा, मैं 16 साल सेल किया, वो 9 महीने सेल किया। ही वॉज फोकस्ड, उसे सिविल सर्विस करना था। And at age of 25, after doing 4 months as a master mariner, he decides to come ashore, and that is the time it also hits me very hard. And I was like, wow. I think that started changing. भाई 5 साल लगा रहा करोल बाग में, in a house of 8 feet by 6 feet. सुअर वाली गली बोलते हैं उसे, वाजीराम क्लासेस और वो सब वहीं पे हैं। And I see him. He's in his fifth attempt, and I have come back and I have joined dad now in his business, where we are going a lot of losses. Times is getting tough, more tougher every day. एंड ये लड़का लास्ट अटेम्प्ट में अपसेट होके नीचे आता है, बोलता है कि डैड एट 11 इन द नाइट। एंड रिमेंबर दिस, जब यूपीएससी कोई देता है, एंड 12वीं फेल जो मूवी अब हिट हुई है, बट द रियलिटी इज व्हेन समबडी गिव्स अ यूपीएससी इन अ हाउस, इट्स नॉट दैट बॉय हु इज गिविंग यूपीएससी, it
Entire
is the
family.
damn whole family is giving that UPSC. It is not about that guy will clear IAS exam or not, but the amount of hardship, the amount of hard work, the amount of perseverance I have never seen any other profession across. And when you look at it, it's something which inspires you. I don't know how many of you know here, and you put that into why that it's an inspirational journey of giving a civil services is that you give your PT preliminary exams, you start studying for mains. If you get your real mains result, and if you passed your PT, then you study for, as you're studying for mains, you give your mains, you start studying for interview. And if you're called for interview, and you've finished your interview, start studying for PT, because your result will come just a month before the PT.
Correct, correct.
So you are studying and studying and studying and studying and studying and studying. And remember, UPSC is always one step ahead of you. Always. So this boy comes after 5 years, a master mariner who's made some 12, 13 lakh rupees a month, who was a mate, sailed, chemical guy. At 11 in the night comes across and says to me and my dad, and we were sitting down talking about him, and he's like, पिताजी, लोग 16 घंटे पढ़ते हैं तो मैं 18, 18 तो 20, 20 तो 22, 22 तो 24, 24 घंटे के बाद तो 2 घंटे सोना पड़ेगा। भगवान ने मुझे इतनी बुद्धि नहीं दी है कि मैं शायद से क्लियर कर पाऊं। एंड आवर डैड नेवर विशेस अस बेस्ट ऑफ लक। सो इसे जितनी मेहनत की उतना मिलेगा तुझे। सो इसे चिंता क्यों कर रहा है, जा ना, करता रहे, मेहनत लगा रहे। He said, my peers have gone ahead in life. Now they're senior masters. They are almost 5 years as master mariners. Where am I? Possibly somebody will not take me as mate also. My confidence has gone down. And this was something, it was hitting very hard. So I looked at him and I said, Bhai, just keep doing what you're doing. And don't worry, we are all there. We are all together into it. And कहते कि बंदे खुद को कर बुलंद इतना कि खुदा भी तुमसे पूछे कि बता तेरी रजा क्या है। या एक और यहाँ पे अर्जुन सिसोदिया जी की कविता याद आती है कि जिसके जीवन में युद्ध नहीं, वो भी बड़े अभागे होंगे। या तो प्रण को तोड़ा होगा या रण से भागे होंगे। दीपक का कोई अर्थ नहीं है तम से जब तक वो नहीं लड़ेगा। आई थिंक व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ लाइफ? And this enlightenment happened when I saw my brother giving his civil services exams. And you won't believe, on his last attempt, today Nikunj Parashar is a bureaucrat. now this is what is the most magical part. And what you can do about is just keep working hard, keep working hard, keep working hard. This struck a chord with me, and I realized that Nikunj, what are you doing is not right in your life. And that's why I tell to many people that I'm 21 years late. Almost, it took me 21 years post my 12th exam to realize, hey, look, I have to do Sagar defense. So yeah, this is exactly the journey from my childhood to where I am today. And on that question, I'll add one more thing. मुझे 12वीं फेल होना पड़ा और मर्चेंट नेवी में कप्तान बनना पड़ा। उसके बाद मैं लाल बहादुर शास्त्री में एज ए फैकल्टी जाकर लेक्चर का मौका मिला। तो देयर आर टू साइड्स ऑफ द सेम कॉइन। इंपॉर्टेंट इज कि आप किस तरीके से जाना चाहते हैं, दैट्स इन योर हैंड। आई थिंक जो कर्म है एंड दैट पावर ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग इज ऑल इन योर हैंड। हाउ डू यू वांट टू चेंज योर लाइफ? And I realized that day, and today when you ask me that why I failed in my 12th standard, what was that zero which I wanted to get, I realized that sitting idle, doing nothing, cursing people around you, cursing the job you are in, being lazy is the most toughest part, because getting zero is the most extreme toughest part. So if you work little hard, you will succeed. If you work little more hard, you'll be successful. If you work more hard, you'll be in a stage where you are scaling and you could change somebody else's life. So getting zero is still going to be very tough in life, and I'm sure there'll be many who will fail in failing. So yeah, it's easy to work hard rather than feeling bad that you have failed, and you have actually not failed well across. Yeah.
So nice of you. I mean, it's really inspiring journey. And I was just reading in your LinkedIn, you have written who believes Nikunj Parashar, who believes success is not in attainment but in trying. And your hard work is obsession. So I can correlate now what you have just translated the entire journey from your childhood and especially on your brother's part. And I can correlate also on the UPSC part because a lot of my batchmates and also some classmates from village who have tried till the very last attempt. Only few of them got success. The rest of them are either they are of course they're very successful in what they are doing. They are doing journalism, or they are of course heading as a some of the new channels, and some of them are now heading some of the UPSC institutions. Fair enough, Captain Nikunj. Really very inspiring journey, and I'm sure whoever, especially the youngsters, will take note of it, which is keep working hard. The mantras which Nikunj has just shared with all of us. Keep working hard. That is the only mantra that we all have to get into. So, coming back to now your soul journey, we have now covered almost half of your journey till you have become master. Now, how and because the journey that you have started was something very, I would say, we have not seen many master mariner into this kind of. I would say you are the first master mariner that I know who are into this uh, defense and whatever you are doing. And of course, you will tell us more what you are doing. But so, what has given you a kick, or what has transpired you to get into this segment? Whereas normally what we see is that once you leave sailing, you get into safety quality, or you get into MMD, or you get into IRS, or you get into some teaching, or manning, or chartering. Your journey is entirely different, and I would like to get into details as much as you can share with all of us, because that will give a great example for youngsters that they can dream, and they can also get into something which they are not expert of. I am sure today what you're doing is probably something very something which you have never learned while you were sailing, something very new, and how that journey or how that learning can happen all of a sudden right from scratch.
Sir, a very good and a valid question, I would say. But I think whatever I've learned is I've learned from sailing. In my office, everybody calls me a captain still, and मैं खड़ूस हूँ. The point is never been done before, and it doesn't mean that we can't do it. I come from a family where my dad started somewhere a small business in '96. He still runs it as a company.
Wow.
And no fault of mine. Let me be honest. The my only thing was I was telling him that you're losing this money, and could we do something about it? And biggest challenge was again to prove my dad that I don't want to do this. I want to do something else, because मुझे घर पे कहा जाता है मैं हर काम आधा आधा करता हूँ. Post my 12th, even today. So my daughter is a prodigy. She does archery very well. She's now gone to a state level, but she fails all in subject in the ninth standard. So my dad says अगर बाप 12वीं में फेल हो गए यहाँ पहुंचा तो 9वीं में ही फेल हो गई तो बहुत आगे जाएगी. So that's
Absolutely.
how, for me, the biggest challenge in life has also been convincing family, convincing people, hey, look, I'm capable of doing something in life across. So the biggest was when the dad's business was going down into ship repair, though we should have been making a lot of money. The money was being siphoned out from a company by our own relative to put across. And it took us good almost 4.5 years to realize that. But by then, we were in a very bad state. So across that, recovering the company out of it would have been extremely tough. And I did an unmanned boat project then with my wife in terms of an RCTB, it's called a radio control target boat, and this was done in 2013, even before Sagar Defense Engineering was formed. So when I did RCTB with my wife across onto this, I realized somehow this is the future. This is something could go into autonomous shipping. And there have been incidents with me where I've seen almost around seven deaths on board ships, some a tragedy like fire across on board vessels, which has certain setbacks behind my head. So he said this could work out in the autonomous shipping area, and possibly it could be niche. And this is something I spotted while we did this first project. So the first unmanned boat of India, which was built by us, by a husband and wife, actually gave me that idea. 2015 is where I formed the company, and parallelly I was running my dad's business. And by 2016, I was able to take him out of a loan. From there, made him cash rich. While we were doing this journey across, and I'm not an engineer, I'm not a qualified engineer to put across, but I have always thought that how the first engineer would have been made and how the first engineer would have become. He would have read. So I'm a voracious reader. I read a lot. Uh, and the best part out it, he teaches you is to use your common sense.
Hmm.
I think one thing we seafarers have much more stronger than any other on the planet, I would say, is a common sense, use of our common sense across. And as seafarers, we use our common sense much more stronger than anybody across. Possibly the astronauts, maybe the other person out there using their common sense. So imagine if you're 4,000 miles out there, out at sea, and you have a problem. Nobody's going to come to you for your rescue. You need to solve all your problem across, whether it's beg, borrow, buy, steal. We talk about this anytime. You need to solve it. So it was a scenario where I did not have a lot of money. It was a scenario where I knew this was a future key, and I knew I was a mariner across. So I knew my job pretty well, and that came from sea. So we started building the technology stack more in terms of as a navigator
Hmm.
rather than in terms of an as an engineer. And you would see in the unfortunate accident which has latestly happened in off Mumbai across,
Yes.
how collision could happen in. So as a navigator, when you start building a company where you see today tech startups are built by technocrats from IITs, NITs, or Ivy League colleges who have studied mechatronics or softwares. But I realized the huge amount of data, the beauty of navigation experience of 16 years, which has been taught to us by legend captains I have been lucky to sail with, who will have that? And
Exactly.
and and you can't bring that data right on a pen and paper and just tell everybody. So my data set was my brain, my data set was my experience. I don't run blood, I run. If you are a leader, you need crazy followers. And that's very important, that you should have people who believe in your idea. You have people who are ready to jump off the ledge on your view, on your vision. And you should be a kind of leader who should be able to inspire them to believe in a common goal. That means at times you will also have to listen to them, understand what they want from their life, and so you should have a common goal. The aspiration has to be common. So two of my co-founders who came in, who were ex-NASA guys, I convinced them to join me
Hmm.
uh, in my company. And so asking somebody to quit a highly paid job, quit a career, which is where everybody wants to go out of this country across. So convincing started from there. So the team, the first part when you do anything more than the, have a good idea, but you should have a very, very good team. And that was the first thing which we did is I got a very, very good team, people who could believe, people I could trust in, people who could trust in me. So from I we went into we mode. That's means where we got in, and they got their friends. So we started working on reference mode. That means दोस्त को लाओ, पैसे तो है नहीं देने के लिए, जो पैसे हैं वो हम लगा सकते हैं, कुछ सामान खरीद सकते हैं, इंजन खरीद सकते हैं, बट सैलरी नहीं मिलेगी आपको. So you need to have people who believe. And so yeah, we were started working on that front. We started getting into people who could come along with us and work with us, coming in, started having the share vision, the same share goal. Then we realized where we thought, okay, अब ऐसी ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी बनाएंगे, ऐसे ऐसे बोट बनाएंगे और जाएंगे और डिफेंस को बेच देंगे, because I realized the first potential customer would be the forces. And अचानक से एक बॉम्ब गिरता है 3 साल बाद, military standards. Now डिफिकल्टीज, मैंने तो कोई आईएम्स अहमदाबाद से मैनेजमेंट नहीं करा है। मैं एक सिंपल जहाजी हूं जो 12वीं पास हूं, बट आई एम अ कॉम्पिटेंट गाय। आई नो माई जॉब, आई एम अ नेविगेटर. So I realized it was very difficult to sell it across to the forces. So we started exporting out. 2017, we were selected as one of the top 10 maritime startups in the world by the Dutch government. They gave us a grant to do pilot here in India, and that really helped us company also to work more in. And then I realized, if I cannot sell engineering, can I sell navigation? Can I sell maritime navigation? So our product base, which started building on, it started building on the strength which we had, on the weaknesses which we had. So we knew what were our weaknesses. So we do SWOT analysis. It's the same way we realize what's our weaknesses, what's our strength, and we started working in converting our weaknesses into our strength. एंड जब आप मेहनत करते हैं तो टाइम स्पेस ये सब राइट सिंक में कभी कभी फॉल हो जाता है. इस पे भी एक कहानी है कि बैंक के लॉकर की दो चाबी होती है. एक चाबी आपके पास होती है, एक चाबी बैंक मैनेजर के पास होती है. उसी तरह से आपके किस्मत की भी दो चाबियां होती है. एक चाबी आपके पास होती है, एक भगवान के पास. हमारे आपके पास कौन सी चाबी है? वो है मेहनत की. सो हम आप यही चीजें कर सकते हैं कि हम सिर्फ मेहनत कर सकते हैं. एंड वो चाबी उस लॉकर में किस्मत में हमेशा डालना होता है. तो शायद कहीं से अगर भगवान चाबी डाल दो खुल जाए. और हुआ.
Exactly.
चाबी खुली, लॉकर खुला. जब लॉकर खुला तो ओएनजीसी केम टू इन्वेस्ट इन अस 4.5 crores, 8 crores. We said no, we don't want 8 crores, we want 4.5 crores, because it was not about money. पैसा तो मर्चेंट नेवी में जो पैसा मिलता है बड़े बड़े कंपनियों के सीईओस को नहीं मिलता है, वो भी टैक्स फ्री. I think I'm seeing all my batchmates, and majority of my batchmates are still sailing. कोई ऑडी चला रहा है, कोई पॉश चला रहा है, कोई हार्ली डेविडसन के साथ मर्सिडीज चला रहा है. मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट, few of my almost 8 of my batchmates have invested in my company only, लाखों रुपए. So people, it's not about money. You start changing across. Your thought process changes. Can you think of changing the world? एंड दे से क्रेजी पीपल चेंज द वर्ल्ड. अगर अभी तक आपने मेरी कहानी सुनी है तो मैं सेन आदमी तो हूं नहीं, मैं पागल हूं थोड़ा. एंड क्रेजी पीपल डू चेंज द वर्ल्ड. तो वो पागलपन जब आप में आ जाता है, एंड वो जब वो पागलपन की समझ भी आपके पास आने लगती है, that's where you start changing your own destiny. That's how you start getting towards your own goal, and that's how your aim also starts changing in life. So ONGC invested, it opened doors. We got some money to work on. And while we were working in this phase, we got IDBI Bank to come and invest in us across. And they invested another 8.5 crores across into us. जर्नी चलती रही. जब चलती रही तो कोविड आ गया. अभी शुरू ही हुआ था हमारा पहला टर्नओवर 55 लाख रुपए का, कि कोविड महाराज ने दस्तक दे दी. अब आदमी करता क्या? भागते भूत की लंगोटी पकड़े आप. तो धारावी में हमने काम करना शुरू किया कोविड के टाइम पे. आप लोगों को, मुझे पता नहीं कितनों को पता है कि धारावी में ड्रोन्स उड़ रहे थे, अंदर फ्लैग मार्च चल रहे थे. 3 महीने सॉलिड हम धारावी में थे. हम 11 की टीम थी तब. हम 7 लोग धारावी में रहते थे. पुलिस क्वार्टर्स जहाँ पे कांस्टेबल्स रहते थे वो सभी बाहर फ्लोर पे सोते थे, हम उनके साथ सोते थे. और सुबह हम वापस धारावी में जाके फ्लैग मार्च करते थे पुलिस के साथ. परमवीर सिंह जी तब पुलिस कमिश्नर थे. हमने करीबन 6 ड्रोन डिप्लॉय किए हुए थे, बैंड्रा में, खारडांडा में, वर्ली नाका पे, धारावी में, मड में. एंड रिलायंस फाउंडेशन ने हमें 3 महीने बाद पैसे दिए. तो हमने उन्हें कहा 9 लाख रुपए. तो हमने कहा 6, क्योंकि ये समय ऐसा था कि बहुत टफ टाइम चल रहा था. तो पैसे कमाने के लिए नहीं हमने काम किया था, हम समाज सेवा के लिए काम किया था. तो हमसे पूछा गया कि कितने पैसे चाहिए. बोला अगर आप दे सकते तो 9 लाख रुपए दे दो, कोई बात नहीं है. हमें 54 मिल गए.
Wow.
9 into 6 मल्टीप्लाई करते, बिन मांगे मोती मिले, मांगे मिले ना भीख. हमें 54 आ गए. हमें समझ में नहीं आया ये गलती से आ गए. तो हमने पूछा परमवीर सर से कि सर ये 54 लाख रुपीज आ गए. बोले ठीक है, नहीं चाहिए तो लाओ, हमें तो दे दो, हम ऐसे ही बदनाम होते हैं. उन्होंने हंस के बोला. उस समय ये भी हुआ कि जो हम 7 जन धारावी में काम कर रहे थे, वहीं पे जो 4 ऑफिस में थे बच्चे, उन्हें कोविड हो जाए. और वो 2-2 मीटर की दूरी पे बैठते थे. हमारा करीबन 1100 स्क्वायर फीट का कमरा था बोरीवली में. सो सो सौरभ पाटिल जो है हमारे दूसरे प्रमोटर हैं, उन्होंने कहा, उस वक्त वो मेरा एम्प्लॉय था बाय द वे, ही वाज गेटिंग ओनली 22,000 रुपीज अ मंथ. एंड सौरभ ने कहा कि सर ये ऐसे चल नहीं पाएगा, हमें 8-10 हज़ार स्क्वायर फीट की चाहिए। अब तो ये नॉर्म बन रहा है कि 2 मीटर की दूरी होनी चाहिए। तब तो लोजा गए, तुरभे गए, सब जगह देखे कि 8-10 हज़ार स्क्वायर फीट की, क्योंकि सॉफ्टवेयर हार्डवेयर की कंपनी है तो अच्छे लोकेशन पे थोड़ी तो होनी चाहिए कि जहां कोई आ सके। तो 6 लाख, 7 लाख, 8 लाख, 9 लाख, 10 लाख का रेंट, क्या करें अब। वो बोला सर ना, मैं फोब मार्शल में काम करता था 1 साल भर पहले। तो वहां पे ना हमें रेंट पे ना 1-1.25 लाख रुपए मिल जाएगा चाकन में फेज 2। तो जिस करंट फैक्ट्री में मैं अभी बैठा हुआ हूँ, हम यहाँ आए और यहाँ हमारी सारी डीलिंग हो गई। 1.25 लाख रुपए में एग्रीमेंट, वो मान गए। फिर हमने उनकी जगह की फोटो भेजी, बोले तो मेरी जगह ही नहीं है। तो ये गायकवाड़ साहब कतर में बैठे हुए थे, इनके दोस्त ने इनके पैसे लेकर अपनी बिल्डिंग बना ली, यहाँ खाली छोड़ दिया। अब
Okay.
अब हम फंस गए कि भी 1.25 लाख कहाँ से, तो उनके तो करोड़ों रुपए लगने हैं। तो सौरभ ने बोला पूछो सर ये बेचेंगे क्या। मैं बोला पैसे कहाँ है, कोविड का टाइम चल रहा है, विल ब्रिंग दिस मनी इन, दैट वाज अ बिगर चैलेंज। He said, "You ask." So I called up my guru from IIMS Ahmedabad, Professor Sunil Handa, and I said, "Sir, ये जमीन लेने की बात हो रही है।" बोला बेटा आंख बंद कर सामने खड़ा हो जा, अच्छी भावना आती है तो ले ले। And I'm telling you, best decisions in life, and possibly not only that, this is one mantra I want to tell everybody. पहले एक्शन ले लो लाइफ में, डोंट थिंक, टेक एक्शन। वंस यू डू दैट, दो ही चीज हो सकती है, या तो सही होगा या तो गलत होगा। अगली बार तुम्हें फिर पता है कि तुम्हें एक्शन कैसे लेना है, ये याद रखो। तो हम लोग ने कभी ज्यादा सोचा नहीं सर, सो वी डिड। एंड आंख बंद किया, जमीन अच्छी लगी, बोला जय श्री गणेश कर देते हैं, हमें तो पैसे कम पड़ गए उन्होंने जितने बोले। तो सौरभ, जिस लड़के को मैं 22 हज़ार की सैलरी दे रहा हूं, वो पुणे से करीबन 10 घंटे दूर मलकापुर करके एक गांव है, जहां पे उसके माता पिता और टू सिंपल स्कूल टीचर्स, बोथ मदर एंड फादर, सिंगल सन, एक छोटे से घर में वो रहते हैं। वो लड़का कहता है सर मैं देता हूं ना आपको। मैं कहा अरे साले तू कहां से देगा मुझे, तुझे तो 22 हज़ार मैं दे रहा हूं यहाँ टिके रहने के लिए। बोलता है सर स्टॉक मार्केट से 3 करोड़ है मेरे पास।
Wow.
द ब्यूटी इज नॉट that 3 crores from stock market. The beauty is that boy gave me money even without asking आप कंपनी में शेयर दोगे क्या। Boy showed his trust in निकुंज पराशर that आप काम करो मैं आपके पीछे खड़ा हूं। Today we are 5 of us together like that. I think Sagar Defense would have not been here if boys like this would not have taken a decision to support me, or taken a decision to follow me, or taken a decision to follow each other, put their life and stake of each other। घटनाएं कुछ ऐसी ऐसी हुई हैं कि मैं सोशल मीडिया पे नहीं बता सकता हूँ। बट जब हम फैक्ट्री सेटअप कर रहे थे तो ये घटनाएं ऐसी भी हुई थी कि आप, एक बंदा आया और उसने अपना रिवॉल्वर रख दिया टेबल पे, बोला कि भाई काम तो हमारे यहाँ से ही कराना पड़ेगा। तो हमने कहा 1 मिनट रुको, हम अंदर गए, दूसरी लेके आए, बोला देख 24-12 से खाएगा कि 32 से खाएगा, ये डिसाइड कर ले तू। Not easy. It doesn't it feels good in today's startup world, where a lot of people raise money and they say this is success, a $1 billion company, a unicorn. But when you are really building a company which is sustainable, which has to be on the goals of sustainability, when people look at you, and it's very difficult to give a pitch। हमें तो पिच सिखाया ही नहीं गया है, हमें तो ऑर्डर देना सिखाया गया है। पूरे कैडेट से
Exactly.
लेकर कप्तान बनने तक यही सिखाया गया, बेटा ऑर्डर देने आना चाहिए, क्योंकि बोसन तुमसे ना तुम्हारे उम्र से ज्यादा है, डबल साइज में है। और तुम्हें एज ए थर्ड मेट उसे कहना पड़ेगा बोसन रस्सी ऐसे खींचो। तुम्हारे जहाज पे सिर्फ 16 लोग हैं, यू हैव ओनली 16 पीपल। द लास्ट शिप आई डिड वाज विद 16 पीपल, एंड टू गेट डन अ मेंबर टास्क आउट देम इफ देयर इज अ फायर ऑन बोर्ड, आपको भी लगता है। सो हाउ डू यू गिव योर सेल्स पिच? So it's been a journey of this learning, and I learned from these boys who were just 22, 23, 24 years old, across, and teaching me, मतलब possibly I would say, and I won't say I would be wrong enough to say कि शायद I would have not trusted so much Saurabh if he was in that situation. The amount of trust he showed in me. So this is what life teaches, and I think this what it's not about products. It's not about office. Today we are building a second factory in 3.5 acres, a very beautiful one, state of the art. In just 2.5 years, we have outgrown the first factory. Matter of fact, while I'm talking to you, I have outgrown the factory which I'm constructing, which will be ready by mid of January next year. It's not about product, it's about people. And that's what led to why Nikunj Parashar, अगर आप मुझसे पूछेंगे कि एक चीज what kept me not being an engineer, तो जो जो मेरी खामियां थी वो मैं दूसरों में देखता गया और उसे पूरा करता गया. तो मैं इंजीनियर नहीं था, मेरे साथ बहुत अच्छे अच्छे इंजीनियर आए, उनमें चाहत और चाह जो थी मेरे जैसे काम करने की. I think that led to what Saga Defense Engineering is today.
एक्सलेंट एक्सलेंट. सो निकुंज जी, जिसको कि फैमिली या सब बोलते थे कि तुम आधा ही काम करते हो, यू आर नॉट फिनिशिंग द वर्क, and from that position, and even now also, you probably in family, maybe some of the family members, especially parents, may still be looking at same angle, even though they might have seen your success at each stage. And I was just reading out almost every year from 2015 till today, or I would say from 2022, every month you have achieved some or other awards or some or other recognition. So this journey has been definitely a great journey, and yes, the teamwork plays a great role. So this trust, you said, trust coming from people like Saurabh, and of course there were friends who has invested in your company. So what was the first break? Of course, ONGC has given you the 4 crores of seed funds. IDBI has given. But when did you first realize that, okay, now I have a product which is marketable, and now I am open, to face the world. Now the world will be recognized. World will recognize your work, and you don't have to go and pitch whatever you just said, that you don't know the pitch. So you don't have to pitch. Now the work will itself will be pitching for you. When was that realization?
So that happened in 22, just 2 years back, I would say. There are drones which are called spotters, which are being operated by the Indian Navy in Gulf of Aden, in Arabian Sea, and also in the Iora region. Across, few of the drones have traveled all the way from Australia to New Zealand across on our warships, and one of them has been exported to Sri Lankan Navy also. So Spotter was a drone which was there was a lot of competition here for drones. If you see people do drones every other day, if you throw a stone, there will be a drone company which is coming up. But again, as a navigator, I realized that traffic se bahar hato. One part of business is don't run into competition, move away from the competition if you want to really capture a larger market and create a niche for yourself. So you know, by blood, I understand maritime. So we entered into the maritime domain and realized if we land and take off drones for moving warships at high speeds, this could be a niche for us. And we could, change the drones applications are looking here in the maritime space. At global level, there are only 3 companies today. One of them, which is doing this. We have selling these products, and that product also gave the trust to our customer. It was a very shabby product. If you would have seen our first drone, it looked pathetic. It looked pathetic, but technologically it was marvelous. And today, when we have gone into production strength, the platform looks more of a European grade, which we are doing. So in 22 our life changed. 22 is where we realized our product through hardship has come out, and then one product takes it to the another, right? So when you really start performing, you start doing your job well, even on ship. If you're really doing work, people keep adding work to you. In a business scenario, when people adding work to you, feel really good. Across on ships, you feel difficult. Sala sara kaam mujhe hi thama raha hai. But beauty is you're doing really well. I think I never felt that on a ship. When people is adding work to me, I was really happy about it, and I was possibly preparing myself for the future. Today, when I go back and I meet a lot of my seafaring friends, they say Nikunj used to talk about business even then, which I never realized that I always wanted to do this. So yeah, Spotter was one product which has changed, and from one to we have gone to USVs, now underwater vehicles. We are doing some very special launch underwater drones which are launched from submarines. I can't talk much about it, and yeah, that's how we are going in. A matter of fact, we're partnering. We're partnered with Boeing on certain project. We're partnered with Israeli aerospace industries across. So yeah, Spotter really took us to another level.
Great. And right from spotters to the latest that you have just finished, the Sagar Mala Parikrama. Can you tell us more about Tarini and the entire Sagar Mala Parikrama?
So there's two things. Tarini is being done by two brave naval officers, Dilna and Rupa. And Dilna and Rupa have now on the way to New Zealand. So on Tarini, we have provided two drones which they capture for their voyage, which
Correct.
they
I
have
have
been
seen
doing
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Sagarmala Parikrama, which we did, was a 1,000 nautical mile journey, which started from Mumbai. This was first ever unmanned surface vehicle, fully autonomous, with satellite communication systems, RF systems, with state-of-the-art 3D, 2D radars, 360 cameras. Come out of Mumbai harbor, opens out at sea, goes through the fishing traffic, goes to Karwar, Cochin, and then to Thoothukudi. I think this was a statement not only to us, but as you said, for the globe to tell the world, hey, look, India has arrived. We are here. And what the world could do, yes, India could do. We have water on all the three sides. We're not a maritime nation, but yes, give it time. People like us are working there, and we hope that others would also be inspired to work in the maritime fraternity, uh, and that's where the future is. So yes, it was telling the world that yes, India can.
Exactly, and that is why I feel that the younger generation will be very privileged to have listening to you now, or even later on they can see in the Select Today YouTube channel and also in Select Today radio, that how a maritime, I mean, master mariner taking navigation, which is their core subject, into the business, and how that business can generate and money as well as a name and fame for the country as well. So yes, hats off to you, Captain Nikunj, for this Sagarmala Parikrama which you have done, and your contribution towards Tarini, which is not exactly doing the Sagarmala for India, but across the globe they are traveling. These two naval officers that you have mentioned. Now I will be opening this forum for question and answer sessions for next 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So anyone, we have 17 people online here in Google Meet and some of them are in YouTube. So if anyone of you wish to ask something from Captain Nikunj, please unmute yourself and you can ask.
This is a standard problem I see even in my office. Nobody asks me a question.
No, they not normally they ask. I have seen in my session people are, yes, Sandeep, please ask.
Good day, sir. Good day, Captain Nikun, sir. Sir, I also come from quite a similar background, naval brat. Did my schooling from NCS. Delighted to hear your story. Very, very motivating. Sir, my question is, company currently SDE is private listed company. When are your plans to list it or bring an IPO? Because this space is very promising as I read and study, and especially your company is doing like really well because I'm following you on LinkedIn as well. So your plans on IPO?
Hey Sandeep, we have just closed a very large investment round across just recently. When we talk about IPO, I really don't know. I'm a naive, you're reading and studying. I have no idea how the IPO thing works, to be very honest. Going IPO is depends is how the company's expansion plan is, and is there a reason for us to go IPO, go public, right? So yes, give us some time. It's going to take some time across because we are growing very rapidly. So from 5 lakhs in last 3 years, we have been growing at a rate of almost 8x to 9x across. At that scale, and possibly in coming 3 years, we would push ourselves, another 5 to 6x to that scale. So it will be all time situation how it happens. Going IPO is one is to people go out, make a cash, good for the investors, exit, promoters make a lot of money across. Trust me, as promoters, we are making already a lot of money here without going to IPO, and so our investors we have given exit. Recently, we have given exit to our existing investor, on the terms which were decided by them. So I feel very proud about me and my. So yes, we'll give it for some more time, and let's see. But moment it comes out, I'm sure shipping fraternity is going to be the first one to even know about it before it goes out in the social media.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you, Sandeep, for asking this question. Anyone else?
Hello.
Yeah, Nitin.
Hi, Via. I have a, I have a question that since we are doing good things for all the nation, so are you planning to move out of Maharashtra also because it will be better if we are throughout the other state also?
Can you repeat your question
Yeah,
again?
Nitin. Sir, he has asked me either in Maharashtra or we'll move state. Nitin, I think in my office, in the factory where we see we're around 150 plus people today, we see around 40% people from northern India. We have another 10% people from eastern India across, and then southern and Maharashtra across. So geographically, it's that not a problem, but we work geographically across India. Matter of fact, while we are in Pune right now, my team is in Eastern Naval Command, Southern Naval Command, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands across. Plus, I have a team right now which is based out of Srinagar. So we work across the country, which also includes Manipur in. So our position in Maharashtra doesn't affect us of working across the nation. And we work for the forces, so we actually work across the nation from Madhya Pradesh to Kanyakumari to anywhere and everywhere to cross. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Nitin.
Yes.
And even in Indian Ocean.
That's true, sir.
No, I also want it to be in my state also, so that's why.
They must be already
बिहार
working.
Yeah.
बिहार में
बिहार में
देखिए जी मैं समझता हूँ, मैं बिहार से ही हूँ, मैं मुजफ्फरपुर से हूँ. बात ये है कि it's not about not doing in Bihar, but it also as a business, when you scale, you have to look at certain opportunities and difficulties and what schemes are being provided by the government across, because business has to be profitable. So having in Bihar or Maharashtra is for me is both the same across, and हमारे यहाँ बिहारी बहुत है, so वो problem नहीं. I don't see that's a problem.
That's a businessman, Nikunj speaking.
I have to say, when you grow in scale, you'll have to look all those benefits.
Great. So, Amit, you have raised the question, raised the hand. Can you ask your question, please?
Good afternoon, sir. My question from sir is any advice on upcoming entrepreneurs you would like to give?
Yeah, a very good question, and this is very important to understand. I would say is you should know too is that when to say no. In the sense is you are on a focus on an idea, you have a team, but if your idea is not clicking, you should know when to say no to that idea and move ahead. Second is be prepared to pivot in life. So, you have an end goal of reaching a point A. For I had an end goal of doing an unmanned surface. But last 15 years, there was no direct opportunity to do the unmanned surface vehicle. So we pivoted. And we pivoted and used the same technology into the drones, established ourselves into the drones, made money over there. While in background, we are working for boats. And then we went back to core what we have to do. So the most important mindset is be adaptive to change, be adaptive to the surroundings and situations around you. And if you're doing that, you would be successful. I don't see there should be any problem.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amit.
Welcome, Amit.
Narendra, you want to ask something? You can unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, sure. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Nikunj ji, for providing wonderful session, and really proud of you, whatever work you are doing. So I have two questions. First one is related to your competitors from India. Do you know basically any close competitor from listed space or any startup? That is first question. And second question is, are you planning to do any kind of expansion in space technology, or some different product offerings you are planning to go in future, like roadmap sense, basically 5 years roadmap?
So, Narendra ji, yes, if there is no competition, it is dangerous because then that business idea may not scale. It could remain as a niche. So, scalability could be a very big problem. We do have competitions, and our competitions are from larger players like L&T, Tara Systems, Mahindra, where we compete from. When it comes from startup space, there are 3 companies in India which are trying to work on these similarities. But yes, we do study them very closely, and we know where they are making mistakes, and some very bad and unfortunate mistakes they have done in last few days. Unfortunately for all of us, that has happened. In terms of roadmap, yes, space is something very close to our heart. Across, I would not be able to divulge much plans on it, but you do keep a wait and watch. In next 3 years time, you would hear something massive from our end. हमने पानी में काम किया, पानी के नीचे, धरती पे, आकाश में. I think that's where we really aim to and bring that change in. So yes, 3 years from now, you will be hearing something more on that front.
Thank you.
Great. One question from my side, Nikunj. Do you think, I mean, since I'm into ship agency, so I normally see a lot of tugs going, let's say, one port clearances, and I had to hire one tug, big tug, just to deliver one port clearance. Don't you think that drone can just go and drop the port clearances and come back? Is it possible?
Sir, absolutely. I think we can do this pilot right away. Rather than sending these small boats or tugs across, this is easily possible. And I think we should run a pilot on this. I don't mind supporting you onto this, and this could be a big, huge cost-saving factor
Yes.
across in
And
the coming scenario.
and it
And
is in line with Maritime India vision, wherein they are working about sustainability, they're talking about reduction of carbon footprint and all that thing, and at the same time, custom is going in one boat, immigration is going in another boat, and somebody is just going for delivering the port clearances, somebody going for cargo paper with the cargo paper.
true. So this can be done. Not only that, sir. In next year and a half, we have got a funding from government of over 25 crores to build a 2-person carrying platform for army, and we are building that across. Once that is done, you send your customer officers also in our drones. So this is a time. In time to come, a lot of changes would happen. Drone work can be done even now today, for sure,
I think
sir.
I think I'll connect you separately on this part. I think PC
Sure, sir.
getting, at least we can start to deliver port clearances without sending boats.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Great, great. Okay, so any questions from any one of you before we wind up? Pramod, you want to ask? Yeah, Raj, please.
Good afternoon, Nikunji. Myself, Raj Sinha. Just wanted to ask, you might have heard about a company called IROV who is operating out of Kochi.
Yeah. I was a mentor to him.
Okay. So this IROV, you see it as a competition to your space, or IROV is totally into underwater other services that you envisage?
John is the promoter. John, friend, been a mentor to him in his initial days, and it's not a competition at all. We do not. We have different businesses. One is IROV. IROV's competition is Planis, which also belongs to a very close friend of mine called Tanuj Jhunjhunwala from IIT Chennai. So IROV and Tanuj Planis, which is IIT Chennai, they both compete. They do ROVs across. For me, John and his product would always be a compliment because we don't do ROVs. We are into autonomous underwater vehicles, which is much larger and different category of vessel which are untethered. So for me, John's product is always going to come on my USVs and get an additional rather than I don't not building them. So yeah, that's how John and his team is to us. He's very close to my heart.
Yep. Thanks.
Raj?
Thank you,
Yeah.
Captain Nikunj. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Welcome, sir.
Anyone else? Okay, I think we had almost a good session of question answers. If any one of you are having still questions, you can write it down to me, or you can put it in YouTube also. We can later on, I'll reach out to Captain Nikunj and he will definitely answer those questions as well. So now, before we summarize, Captain Nikunj, any advice from your side to young Nikunj that you would like to give? I don't want to say, I mean, you have purposely given a target of failing yourself. So I don't want to get into that trap, but something you really want to wish that young generation should not make that mistake, and they should really utilize their energy and resource where they are misutilizing it due to social media. This could be for any other misusing of technology, whatever. So So what you would like to tell the younger Nikunj now, if you have to advise?
I'm 21 years late, and something which I want think is manageable, but not your time, and the time keeps running out. So it's very important for each one of us to be responsible, very responsible towards the time what you have in your hand, because things will go and you can catch them up, you can race them up, but the time which has passed, it's you bring it. So when especially the seafarers were all out there, you're all alone. I think you have more power to be more responsible therein. Enjoy that moment out at sea. Enjoy that responsibility. Take 2 to 3 tasks more. Just do not count your dollars. It's just not the dollars which you're making there, but you are actually working towards possibly when you take that next step in your life, you are going to change somebody else's life. So I'm proud to be a enjoy, don't waste that time. Don't get 21 years late then like me.
Yeah, I think there was some network issue, but we have heard you in between. Yes, time is something which you have mentioned. We should not waste time, and that goes for all the youngsters, and of course all of us. That we don't want to be. If you don't want to be 21 years late than what Nikunj has achieved, then just follow his good points or whatever lessons, the leadership lessons that he has shared with all of us. I must admit, Nikunj, I was not knowing that we have so many things in common. One is that we are from the same state. I am from Madhwani, and you said you are from Jakarpur. I was not aware of that. Other part is that we are from the same institution. I am also from Jawahar.
Oh,
So and then the third point is I have also worked in BSM as a LPSQ superintendent. So when you are describing that Olympia building and getting into the BSM office, so I was correlating with that. So a lot of common factors, a lot of common things, and of course what keeps you apart from all of us because of your, you said as that pagalpan, that there was something driving in you, keeping you busy, do something which can inspire others, and you have done that and keep inspiring all of us. On this note, I would like to thank you again. Thank you, Seller, today for live telecasting on your YouTube channel. Thank you everyone for joining this session. We would look forward to see you again next month with another great personality from Maritime Field. Thank you, Nukunj. Thank you very
thank you
much.
so much, sir. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
you.